Alright, this round shows off a really cool strat involving the Calygreyhound, the Tiger Bug, and the Thunderbird, which are all on different tiers, and so it ends up actually being pretty easy to set up, but ends up being incredibly good. Shoutouts to Equi for using this strat. I initially saw it first from him doing a Unicorn Pack 1v1, since he was going Unicorn Pack only in this season of Team Tour, even though it is considered to be the worst pack, but it's the newest, and it's got some pretty cool strats in it. So yeah, this one ends up, I think, being... Even, like, if you use this in customs, I think it would be really good. It reduces, so the actual abilities, Calygreyhound spends mana to reduce the healthiest enemies down to 1 HP if it has enough mana, and then the Tiger Bug jumps forward, deals a little bit of damage before attacking, and just kind of instantly kills them. So if it is positioned correctly, it just is absolutely devastating to the team. And at level 3, it multiplies the mana by 3, and if you have a level 3 Thunderbird, that's 9 mana, so you can deal 27 damage, which is pretty solid. It's about as much mana as you're going to get, since Tier 2 giving 9 mana is pretty nice, and you can actually get it to level 3, especially with the existence of Gingerbread. So yeah, ends up being not too difficult to actually go for, and I think a really good strat. There are a lot of snipers that can kind of ruin your day in Unicorn, but if you get some extra stats, which I end up going for Team Spirit, just because it ends up being so good since you have Gingerbread, get a whole bunch of level ups. Yeah, the strat is very, very solid. But I feel like I gotta get this out of the way. I brought up the Nuggets yesterday. Oh my god, dude. Game 7 was brutal. It was an absolutely, like, crazy series. I mean, I shouldn't go over it again, but they lost their first 2 games at home, which makes it seem like it was over. And then they win 3 in a row, and so it seems like they're just going to clean win. And then they lose the next 2. In Game 7 alone, they were up by 20. Like, it was largest Game 7 deficit comeback ever in, like, the 151 Game 7s there have been in the history of the NBA. There hadn't been one that was more than 11 points at halftime, and they were up by 15 at the half. End up losing. Oh my god, they were up by 20 in the third. So sad, but there's always next year. I won't talk about basketball too much, but just had to bring that up. Now, I'm probably still going to keep watching, because I've actually ended up watching a lot of basketball, ended up becoming a pretty big fan, so still continue to see, but it's always so rough when your team loses, and then it's like, oh, there's all the investments. I watched like almost every game in the regular season. I don't know if that's embarrassing or not. I watched so much basketball, but yeah, it was pretty cool. Anyway, random thing I wanted to bring up, dude, the Summoning Soul video, I don't know if people have seen this, but his most recent one is the world record history of Tetris. It's a great video. It's like 2 hours long. Summoning Soul's, of course, always like great videos, but this one especially, I feel like is maybe his best one yet, and I also love Tetris. I've played like 2,000 hours of modern Tetris. I haven't played any NES Tetris, but I've followed the scene for like quite a few years after seeing that like Boom Tetris for Jeff video. Although that didn't actually initially get me into it. I think it might have been like a Game Scouts videos a while back that have really got into it. He makes some good NES Tetris videos as well. So just been following the scene. And yeah, the world record progression for NES Tetris history is insane. There's so many twists and turns. Also, it's nice that it's a feint ability, so even though it got sniped there, it still actually managed to go off, and I still managed to win that round. So ends up working pretty beautifully. And luckily, the Thunderbird has higher attack than the... I forget what that tier 1 is called, but it jumps in front, so it doesn't steal the mana. And yeah, the Cyclops was pretty nice just to get a little bit of extra experience, and the teams are really coming together. 9 mana, that's going to be enough for a very long time. I guess in the end it would eventually fall off to like 50-50s, but what is actually the best way to get mana in Unicorn Pack? I kind of forget. It's actually pretty hard to get like an insane amount of mana. There's that tier 6 that's like based off of attack, I suppose that could be one way to do it, but now that Mana Hound is not very good, I guess maybe Mana Hound plus Thunderbird could get you to whatever you need to get it down from 50 to 1, which would be, 16 or 17 mana, something like that. Seems somewhat reasonable. And then there's the Team Spirit, so already have, I guess, just 2 level ups, and was not paying attention to the actual gold amount. Love when that happens. Happens way too frequently. Like, math should not be that hard. But yeah, this is definitely the worst that the team's going to be. Also, running into this team is really rough. I mean, this is also probably one of the best Unicorn Pack teams you can get. It's Rock plus the Tier 1 that deals sniping damage plus the Kraken to reduce HP. There's really not much you can do against that team. It's just so hard to beat. But there's the Tiger Bug plus the Gingerbread. Gingerbread's still probably one of the best foods in the game, even at tier 3. Used to be a tier 2, but even at tier 3, I mean, they could make it a tier 4 and it would still be insane. So, look at that. That was just so much extra damage. Although, is going to be a loss. That is a really good team for that round. Sometimes it's just dependent on the matchups, of course. Gingerbread, and now just gonna look for, I guess, oh, okay, I could combine the Tiger Bugs and go double Team Spirit. I think that's what I should have done there, since I don't really need the double Tiger Bug. I just need the one, and then I would have gotten an extra 2-4 for the entire team, which would have been pretty solid. And look at that. So killing a 20 attack unit just instantly, plus I think the mana, or something else killed the other one, so it just ends up being like so efficient. Anytime you can kill an enemy, their strongest team thing, you know what I mean. Anyway, now just looking for level ups. I don't really care about the Tiger Bug level up because it only needs to deal 1 damage. Really, the most important thing, I guess, would just be leveling up the Phoenix and leveling up the Team Spirit. I suppose I could just buy mana potions on the Calygreyhound. That would also work. It, of course, halves every round, so it ends up being, like, not super effective. But that would be a way to... You know, I guess you could just keep buying mana potions, assuming you keep finding them in the shop. Even if it, like, depletes, you could still get +6, and then you get, like, -3, and then you get +6. So you could still get, like, 3 mana every turn, and I guess that would be one way to get to, like, 50-50. The Khmer is going to be pretty rough. Of course, the team does not do very well against summons, so gonna lose that round. Going down to lethal, I said this strat was good, but trust me, I get the 10 wins. Not to spoil it or anything. I mean, it's pretty obvious, I would think, but... Level 2 Phoenix, that's going to be pretty nice. And maybe I should go for, instead of a Phoenix, I should have gone for like the tier 6 thing. But I figured it's probably not worth it. Right now, I mean, it was -15, I guess it said. But yeah, that was still plenty. And still going to win by the Phoenix. Pretty good. Level 3 Team Spirits, love to see that. And now just going to look for, I guess, level 3 Phoenix and maybe level 3 Tiger Bug. What's the team going to be? A lot of Frogman. I mean, that is probably the best way to scale in this pack, unless if you get Team Spirit plus maybe like the tier 6 that instantly levels things up, which is not like super difficult to get, but going for the Frogman. The only issue is all the snipers. It is pretty frustrating to go Frogman in this pack just because of how many times you get sniped out and don't actually get the stats. It's really annoying. Just like the potential, it's like, oh, I have scaling as long as they don't run into snipers. And then of course you run into snipers like every single time. But looks like a lot of stats on that team, but still managed to beat it. Granted, a lot of it is coming from the Team Spirit extra stats. Level 3 Team Spirit is pretty insane, but I feel like... Still, having a tier 2, a tier 3, and a tier 4 deal this much damage to the opposing team is still pretty solid. Like, this combination just synergizes so well. And this is the last round, and it's another Frogman team. Going against a Minotaur is also probably going to be great, assuming the Calygreyhound hits it. And it does, instantly kills it, and then looks like it's going to be a win with the Phoenix in the back. Juice with the one that squeezed you. Interesting name. So, solid win. Pretty fun. The Unicorn pack is still pretty fun, but also, I guess, fairly weak. And thanks for watching. See ya.